My girlfriend finds my relationship with my little sister as inappropriate. A little backstory. My father has always been a womanizer, a liar, and a cheater. I am his eldest son, and two of my siblings were born to the same lady with whom Dad was cheating on my mother while they were married. When my mother discovered his adultery and the fact that there were other children, they divorced. When I was 10, my mother committed herself, and I was forced to live with him. He had many women in and out of his life and 2 additional children by the time I was 18. He then had my younger sister. He didn't stop there. I was just contacted by another 18-year-old woman who discovered via her mother that my father was also her father. My younger sister and I are really close. We have the same father but not the same mother. My father is a decent man, but God man, he's constantly with a new female and they're always pregnant. As a consequence, he isn't the finest father figure, and I am more like my sister's father than he is. I have her at my home, a 2-bedroom condo, all the time, and every property-seeking trip recently seems to include her. My 6-month girlfriend dislikes the fact that she is usually at my home, that she has a room, and that I wash her laundry. The other day, my girlfriend was putting sheets on my bed, and there was a pair of my sister's underpants that had fallen out of the wash. She had a nervous breakdown. She was remarking on how strange my connection with my sister is. When she stated that we got into a fight, I told her my sister was the same age I was when my mother died and I had to move in with my father full-time. That is not something I would desire on any youngster. She is aware of my mother's tragic death, and I believe she is aware of the influence it has had on me. I've told her how it ties to my sister's predicament, but she doesn't seem to care. The bottom line is that she told me I needed to stop bringing my sister around so frequently. That's not going to happen, to be honest. I adore that girl, and I'm essentially her father. So I'm looking for advice on how to inform my soon-to-be ex. She believes my sister and I are having an improper connection. How do I tell her to calm down? More importantly, how can I prevent her from telling anybody else? Update. As soon as my sister departed, I invited my girlfriend over to discuss. I didn't feel good cutting things up without first finding out why she's behaving this way. Her response to my connection with my 10-year-old sister, I informed her, was unpleasant and improper. When I questioned why she felt the way she did, she burst into tears. She is a victim of abuse, as many of you surmised in the comments section of my earlier article. Her account about the menstrual freakout is so revolting that I can't even write it. She's still sleeping here. I consoled and reassured her. I'm fairly sure this is the first time she's come over here without trying to have with me. I'm grateful for it. But now I'm not sure whether I can break up with this lady. I'm terrified of releasing my rage. I don't want to date her anymore, but after this revelation, I'm at a loss for what to do. Advice would be much appreciated. Story 2. The mother, 40 female, of my son's 8 male best friend, 8 male, invites her daughter, 5 female, over to my 40 female house when I invite her son to my house, and I don't know how to handle this. Will, my 8-year-old son, and I are a single mother. We kind of bubbled with his closest buddy Cody's family at COVID. During that time, I brought Cody's 5-year-old sister, Mary, over to play a few times, as well as one evening for a movie night, so Cody's parents could have a date night if they chose. All of those invitations were initiated by me, and I prepared for them, purchased snacks, cleaned ahead of time, and was ready to assist and direct activity since the sister is only 5. And I like having children here. When I invite Cody over for a sleepover, his mother, Beth, asks if Mary may come along as well. Alternatively, she has Mary ask me personally. This may happen at either the moment of drop-off or pick-up or both. And I said okay for maybe a year, but I really need my weekend time to clean, make meals, do laundry, and do the work of life, so that I can be present for my kid once the sleepover/playdate is finished. And the whole time Mary and her mother are here, I am being asked to watch Mary do this or that, or to fetch her a snack, a fresh snack, a Band-Aid for a boo-boo, or to converse with the mother. And I do love my mother's company, but not for 30-90 minutes when I haven't planned for it or invited her over. When I should be preparing dinner, shifting laundry, cleaning bathrooms, or addressing my to-do list. Beth contacted me many months ago to let me know she and her husband had an emergency and asked if I could keep the kids while they cleaned up the ceiling that had fallen onto their vehicle and garage. Of course, I answered sure, but my ex-husband was in town visiting our son, so I told him I wouldn't be able to babysit them until noon, when he was scheduled to depart. At noon, Beth brought the kids over and told me that they had cleaned everything up while the kids played inside, but that she hadn't had a chance to do the errands she had intended to run that morning. And I was very stunned by this knowledge, since I do errands with my kid because errands are a necessary part of life. And I began to feel bitter that I was spending my day watching her kids while she went shopping for school supplies, something I hadn't done yet. She also asked if I could bring her children over for a movie night while she had a work party, and it's good to inquire, but that particular day didn't work for me. I only send out such kinds of invitations when my partner isn't accessible and I'm on top of my domestic responsibilities. But she seemed to be expecting me to say yes, as if that was her babysitting plan for the night. I arrived early for the autumn festival, and my kid had finished his activities, so I had him stand in one food truck line while I stood in another. I'm teaching him to order, buy, and pick up his own food. And then we went to the playground to eat and play with him. When Beth, her husband, Cody, and Mary arrived, Beth's husband went to get in line for food, and Beth asked, "Can you keep an eye on Cody?" And I said yes. He was literally playing with my son, and they are both 8 and inseparable, so finding my son, which I can easily do, is also finding Cody in a second. "And Mary is here someplace too," she says, and I instantly remarked, "I don't know what she looks like, since all of the kids are dressed up." "She's a dragon," Beth replied. "And it's late at night, and there are children everywhere. It's dark, and there are around 50 youngsters dressed up." And I said, "I'm not going to be able to locate her." And Beth pointed her out, and her head was covered, and I was simply never going to figure out which one she was until she was pointed out. Then Beth went into line with her husband, while I supervised their children. I don't expect preferential treatment from my friends, society, or life as a single mother. But the truth is that there is no second parent to babysit my kid while I do errands or wait in line for food at his autumn festival. I take my kid with me on errands and make him wait in line for meals. Being asked or ordered to babysit or host a kid when I did not volunteer makes me feel bitter and dumped on. Even more so when Cody and Mary's mother and father let me to babysit their children as they stood in the same line. It may seem selfish and petty of me to believe that one of them should be minding their own children. Things I've tried include saying no, today won't work. When asked if Mary could come play was great the first time, but the second time, Beth bringed Mary and Beth walked in the front door and informed her 5-year-old that she had to wait in the front yard since I said she couldn't. And I didn't back down. As a result, Mary moaned from the front yard through the slightly ajar door, saying it's all right for Mary to come in and play as long as Beth keeps an eye on her since I'm in a meeting right now, which I was. Mary and Beth stayed for a short time. I'd begun inviting other boys around for playdates to assist my kid widen and diversify his social network. But Cody is his absolute closest friend. I'm not going to stop inviting him over. Cody is a really easygoing youngster. Playdates and sleepovers with him are always a blast. He is courteous, listens, and follows my instructions. Mary does not follow instructions. When she doesn't like the snacks I provide, she pouts and whines and requests a new one. Currently, I just offer an apple or a cheese stick and nothing else. I read, "If you're not hungry for an apple, you're not hungry." She is more challenging than my son or her brother, yet she Is just 5 years old. I simply need a plan to avoid being dumped on or to learn to not be resentful of it. I completely get that I may be so wrapped up in negativity that I'm spiraling in bitterness when this is all quite normal. I've never had such a problem with inviting siblings over. Is this typical, and all I need to do is modify my attitude about it? Is there anything more I can say?